Two. My name is Antonio Graceffo. I'm the author of the book The Monk from Brooklyn and the host of the web TV show Martial Arts Odyssey. Today we're in my grade 2 ESL classroom in Tainan, Taiwan. Parrot, number 1. Kitten, number 7. Number 3. Very good. Okay, Super Robot goes fishing. Super Robot goes fishing. Once upon a time there was a super robot named Bob. This evening is the parents' demos, and the parents would come in to see my picture stories. Picture stories is a technique that I use to create real English-speaking opportunities for the children. We started out by pulling 3 random pictures out of their writing textbook. I drew the pictures up on the board, and I invited the children to start giving me some ideas how to make the 3 pictures into a story. A big flower. And he took the flower back to his mother. And mother said, oh, I forgot the hair. Mother said, we don't eat flour. Once we had created a story start to finish, then I went through and I told the story, and I pointed at each picture as I told the story. The story was called Super Robot Goes Fishing. There had been a random picture of a robot in our book, there had been a picture of a flower, and there had been a picture of people fishing. And those were the 3 pictures we picked, and we made this story, Super Robot Goes Fishing. And the basic story is, Super Robot's mother was very poor and hungry. She sent Super Robot to the lake to go fishing to get some food, but instead all he caught was a flower. And when he came back, the mother said, Super Robot, we don't eat flowers. And then the story goes on from there. Anyway, the children helped me create the story. So the next step was, after I had told it a few times, I invited the children to come up one at a time and tell the story. And we added a few pictures to sort of cover all the different steps of the story that we'd come up with. So by the end there was probably about 6 pictures on the board and about 1 or 2 sentences per picture. And I point at the picture, I tell this story, point at the next picture, tell the story, and get all the way through the story. And then the children came up and did the same thing.
This was her mother. One day, his mother said, we have no food, but go fishing. He catch a big frog and a dinosaur. He go back, his mother said, no, don't eat dinosaur. He go back, but he catch a big fish. His mother said,
Evolution 2 of this exercise was, I invited the children on a separate piece of paper to draw a storyboard and draw the pictures themselves, write the sentences themselves. They colored it, then we hung them up on the wall as decorations in our classroom. The important thing here, again, is that the children told the story at their own level, using their own vocabulary. No 2 of the children told them the same way. The goal was not to memorize what I had said, but to get through the story, to tell the story. Very good, yes. They did the same thing on the paper. And once they'd done it on paper with the drawings, the next step was I asked them to write the story in paragraph form. And then I corrected it and had them rewrite it. But again, they all wrote it differently, and some of them already began embellishing, oh teacher, can I add this, can I add that? The next evolution of the exercise is that we went back to the board, and I invited the children to come up one at a time and retell the story. However, this time I would randomly add other pictures, and the children would have to incorporate those pictures into their story. And of course, as the story goes on, it gets sillier and sillier, and the children laugh, and it's a really good time. But the important thing about picture stories is it's developed out of a language learning method called automatic language growth, which was developed by Dr. J. Marvin Brown. And today, the world's leading researcher and reading expert on this method is named David Long, and he runs the Thai program at AUA Ratchadamri in Bangkok, where they use the ALG method to teach Thai and Japanese and Chinese. Basically, the idea is that if we only use textbooks or we use stories that are in textbooks, we're not using real language, we're not using real communication, we're using canned communication and a lot of memorization.
Once upon a time, there was a boy named Bob living with his mother. One day his mother said, we don't have any food, but said I will go fishing. First time, he got a flower and a dinosaur. He go back. Mother said, we can nice dinosaur. Go fish again. And he will come out, big fish and alien. And Bob take the fish and alien said, this is my food, you cannot take. And Bob said, okay.
Picture stories is a way to create real communication and thinking the children want to tell the story and they need to tell the story so they get through the story, and that's what real communication is about. It's not about memorization. Good job everybody, very nice. I like your story. I'm Antonio Graceffo. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you'll try picture stories in your classroom, and please send me some feedback. I'd love to know how it's worked out for you in other countries, and if you just send me a little message, tell me where you're teaching, tell me a little bit about your students, just contact me. Thank you so much. I'm Antonio Graceffo, and please, as always, I ask, please say a prayer for the people of Burma.